Good afternoon, everyone. There's a voice inside your head that whispers in the dark. It doesn't yell, it doesn't need to. It speaks in quiet moments. When the world falls silent and you're left alone with your thoughts, it says, you're broken. You've made too many mistakes. You're not like everyone else. You'll never change. You'll never be enough because of what you've done or what's been done to you. That voice, it's not truth, it's trauma, it's shame, it's the past trying to write your present and predict your future. But here's what no one told you growing up: your past is a chapter. Not your conclusion, it's your history. Not your identity. It's part of your story, but it does not get to write the ending. You are allowed to outgrow the version of you that you used to be. You are allowed to rewrite your narrative. You are allowed to rise again and again, no matter how many times you've fallen. This isn't blind optimism. This is war, a war against the lies that say you are only as good as your worst mistake, your lowest moment, your greatest failure. It's time to burn that lie to the ground. Let's begin. The past has a strange power over us, especially when we've been hurt, humiliated, abandoned, rejected, or labeled. You begin to see yourself through the lens of what happened to you, not who you really are. You say, I was the addict. I was the failure. I was the liar. I was the one who quit. I was the girl who got used. I was the boy who was never chosen. I was the one who couldn't hold it together. And slowly, you start building your identity around your pain. You create a prison, and you decorate it with stories that sound like truth, but are really fear in disguise. But here's the raw, unfiltered truth. Just because you lived it doesn't mean you have to keep reliving it. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to let go. You are allowed to say, that was me. But that's not me anymore. The moment you start rising, someone will say, who do you think you are? We remember what you did. You don't get to change. But here's the thing, people who haven't healed themselves will always try to keep you small, not because they hate you, but because your growth reminds them they've stayed stuck. You can't build your future based on people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You are not responsible for their comfort. You are responsible for your becoming. You will be judged. That's inevitable, but judgment has never been the enemy. Staying stuck because of it is. For most of us, change doesn't happen in moments of comfort. It happens after we've been through hell. It happens when you're on the bathroom floor. When you've lost what you thought you couldn't live without. When you've been left. When you've made the mistake you swore you'd never make. When your soul whispers, this isn't who I want to be anymore. That's the breaking point. And contrary to what you've been told, the breaking point isn't the end. It's the birthplace of a new life. Because sometimes you need to break to rebuild with stronger materials. Sometimes rock bottom isn't your grave, it's your foundation. People think forgiveness means excusing the past. Let me be clear, it doesn't. Forgiveness is saying, you don't get to control my story anymore. I release the grip of this pain, not because it didn't matter, but because I matter too much to carry it forever. You forgive others, not to set them free, but to set yourself free. And more importantly, you forgive yourself. You say, I did the best I could with who I was and what I knew. I made mistakes, but I am not my mistakes. I take responsibility, but I refuse to live in shame. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's rebellion against the chains of regret. When you start saying, my past doesn't define me, you take the pen back, you become the author again. You stop being the victim of your story. And you start being the warrior. You stop saying, why did this happen to me? And you start saying, what can I build from this? That heartbreak. You'll use it to become more empathetic, that loss. You'll use it to value life more deeply, that pain. You'll use it to help others find their healing. You no longer bury your story, you own it, and then you rise from it. Because the truth is, your past isn't a curse, it's a classroom. And you're graduating. Shame is one of the most brutal prisons we carry. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It says, don't tell your story, they'll judge you. Don't open your heart, they'll laugh. Don't reach too high, you don't deserve that. Shame doesn't just keep you small, it convinces you that you belong there. But here's what shame fears the most: your voice, your truth, your courage to say, "This is what I've been through, and I'm still here." Every time you speak honestly about where you've been, every time you show your scars without apology, every time you let yourself be seen, shame loses its grip. You don't have to be fearless to be free, you just have to be willing to speak louder than the voices that want you silent. So many of us wait to feel ready, to be clean enough from the past, to be worthy enough for a fresh start. But you don't build your future from perfection, you build it from resolve. From courage, from clarity, from the moment you look at your past and say, "You can come with me, but you can't lead me anymore." Every healed scar becomes a tool, every hard lesson becomes wisdom, every painful chapter becomes a stepping stone. Your future isn't waiting for the perfect version of you, it's waiting for the real version, the one who's fallen, gotten back up, and still believes in what's ahead. You can spend your whole life apologizing for who you were, or you can start showing up as who you are now. Some of us get stuck in repentance loops, constantly trying to prove that we've changed. But here's the truth: you don't have to prove it. You can live it. You can show up differently, speak differently, love differently, lead differently, create differently, not to erase your past, but to show the transformation. Every time you smile without guilt, every time you help someone without hiding your truth, every time you walk into a room without shrinking, you prove to the world healing is possible, growth is real, and redemption is powerful. So many people confuse what happened to them with who they are. You were abandoned. That doesn't make you unworthy, you were betrayed. That doesn't make you unlovable, you were abused. That doesn't make you broken. You are not the pain, you are not the mistake, you are not the failure, the addiction, the regret, the reputation. You are the one who survived it. You are the one who is still becoming, and that is what makes you unstoppable. The past may have shaped you, but it does not get to define you, only you get to do that. Let's be honest, rebuilding your life after a painful past isn't cute, it's not perfectly filtered. It doesn't always look inspiring from the outside. Some days it's slow, some days it's silent, some days it's lonely. You question yourself, you grieve who you used to be. Even if that version of you was miserable, you'll be tempted to go back to what felt normal, even if it was toxic. But here's what's beautiful: every tiny, quiet decision you make to keep going is a victory. Choosing healing over hiding, choosing honesty over performance, choosing growth over comfort, choosing you again and again and again. That's where freedom lives, not in perfection, not in performance, but in progress. And the beautiful truth is, no matter how slow you go, if you don't stop, you're already winning. There's a lie you might have believed, that people with a messy past don't get to dream big, that you disqualified yourself when you failed, or got lost. But that lie was never yours to carry. Dreams don't belong to the flawless, they belong to the fearless. And the most fearless people are the ones who've already faced the fire and survived it. The fact that you've been broken doesn't mean you're not worthy of beauty. The fact that you've made mistakes doesn't mean you don't get to hope again. In fact, you might be the perfect person to carry a dream, because you know what it means to lose everything and still wake up the next day with fight in your bones. So dream again, loudly, boldly, bravely. Start a business, write the book, apply for the job, ask for the love you deserve, say yes to the life you secretly crave. Not because you're healed completely, but because you're healing and still rising. Forget the idea of finding yourself. You're not a lost item, you're not buried treasure. You don't find yourself, you build yourself. You choose, brick by brick, who you want to become, and the materials, they come from both the pain and the progress. You build from the lessons, you build from the breakdowns, you build from the tiny victories no one ever sees. You build self-respect by keeping promises to yourself. You build resilience by refusing to quit. You build peace by letting go of what you can't control. This isn't about pretending your past didn't happen, it's about proving that it didn't destroy you. Every day, every decision, every choice is another brick, and soon you look around and realize you built a life the old you would have never believed possible. Some people let pain destroy them, others let pain define them. But the rare ones, the strong ones, turn pain into purpose, not because it's easy, but because they refuse to let suffering be wasted. You turn your heartbreak into healing for others. You turn your survival into strength for the broken. You turn your scars into stories that say, you can survive this too. This is how you make sense of the past. You redeem it. Not by erasing it, but by elevating it. You say, yes, I've been through hell. But I didn't come back empty-handed. I came back with wisdom, with fire, and with a mission. And that mission, to be the proof that pain can produce power. Here's something you might not expect. When you finally step into your healed identity, you will scare people who still live in survival mode. You'll be a threat to limiting beliefs, generational trauma, cycles of silence, systems of control, small thinking. Because nothing terrifies the old system more than someone who broke free. You'll trigger the insecure, you'll rattle the status quo, you'll become the person your past never thought you could be. But that's not a bad thing, because your freedom is someone else's permission slip. Someone is watching you, quietly, secretly, praying that you don't give up, because if you can rise from that wreckage, maybe they can too. Don't dim your light to make others comfortable. Shine, because your light exposes what's possible. Revenge doesn't have to look like proving them wrong. It doesn't have to be about showing them. Sometimes the best revenge is this: a calm mind, a clean conscience, a soft heart that still loves, a life so full of joy. It makes the pain irrelevant, a version of you so powerful, your past can't even recognize you anymore. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to convince anyone. Just keep living, keep growing, keep healing, keep rising. And if you want more videos, podcasts like this, subscribe, share, and stay connected. I am your friend, Clement.